Can you survive on just $10 a day? That was the question I asked myself, and I decided to put it to the test. A $10 bill, nothing more. No cards, no hidden savings, no help from friends, just 10. And in this video, you'll see exactly what happened. How I ate, how I moved, and most of all, what I learned about money, life, and myself. What I discovered on the third day changed the way I saw money forever. I had the bill in my hand, and as I looked at it, it seemed big, but also ridiculously small. $10. In a world where a coffee at a trendy cafe can already cost half that, could I really survive on so little? First, I set my rules. No cheating. I couldn't ask my friends to treat me to food. I couldn't use cards. I couldn't even accept favors that under normal circumstances would seem harmless. Just that bill, as if it were the only thing I had in life. The first thought was simple. I need food. The body doesn't function without energy. But there was a second problem: transportation. What if I had to move to another place to get cheaper food? Or what if I had to walk for hours to save money? I decided to start by walking. No more spending money on transportation. The sweat and the tiredness didn't matter. The first thing was to find cheap food. I headed to a local market because I knew the prices there would be lower than at a convenience store. On the way, I passed a coffee shop I often frequented. The smell of freshly ground coffee was almost a trap. I looked at the menu, a small coffee, $4.50, almost half my budget for the day. Number. I kept walking. When I got to the market, everything changed. The stalls were full of options, from freshly baked bread to rice sold by the kilo. I started comparing prices like never before. I ended up buying the basics: a small bag of rice, a large loaf of bread, and a bottle of water. Total, less than $5. Luxurious? Number. Enough? Yes. On the second day, I decided to get more organized. I couldn't spend haphazardly. I had to divide my $10 strategically. I made a mental plan: maximum $3 on food, nothing on transportation, and save a couple of dollars for emergencies. That day, I realized that creativity becomes your best friend. I started mixing rice with a little bread, making small portions and stretching each bite. What had previously seemed boring now felt like a personal achievement. I also decided to walk more. I could have used public transportation, but every coin I saved on fares could be turned into food. And as I walked, I began to notice things I'd previously ignored: parks, people, free places to rest. The third day was the hardest. The hunger was real. My small portions were starting to take their toll. My friends texted me to invite me to dinner. I could imagine the food, the taste, the atmosphere. And the worst part, I had the money to pay for one meal. But if I did, the challenge was over. I walked past a fast food restaurant. The sign read, "Combo on sale, $9.99. Exactly what I had. I could walk in, eat like a king for a while, and forget about hunger. But that would mean finishing it all in one fell swoop. The psychological impact was brutal. Watching others spend mindlessly while I counted coins made me feel vulnerable. For a moment I was about to give up, but I took a deep breath. I remembered it wasn't just a money challenge, it was a life experiment. And that moment was a turning point. Either I gave up or I found another way to continue. The seventh day was a mix of relief and pride. I counted my last coins and prepared my last meal. A simple rice dish, no frills, but enough. While I ate, I thought about everything that had happened during the week. So I want to invite you to do an exercise. Think about how you spend your money every day. How much of it do you really need, and how much is just habit?